What's up, everybody? Happy draft day. It has finally come. It is Christmas Day for all of us nerds out here who love football, who love the NFL, who love fantasy football, especially. I'm Marcus Grant. This is the NFL Fantasy Cheat Sheet. I'm here with Michael F. Florio, here with Laquan Jones. We're going to do this as quickly and safely as possible because producer Susie, who's helping us put this on, is looking outside the window of her apartment, and apparently there is an inferno going on like a block away from where she lives. So, Susie, stay safe. And if suddenly this stream goes out all of a sudden, we know it's because she had to evacuate. So hopefully everything's okay.
Talk about fire content.
It's fire content only. Just another day of living in Hollywood, California. Like it's just when you live out here and you're like, oh yeah, you live in Hollywood. Like, yeah, these are things that happen.
These are normal things.
These are normal things that happen. Anyway, here we are. We are approximately, let me do the math, 7 hours away from the NFL draft starting. So I mean, one, how are we feeling? Are we excited? Are we relieved? Florio, how are we feeling here 7 hours away from the start of the draft?
Definitely excited. I've spent, as all of us have, a lot of time, basically since the Super Bowl, any football stuff outside of that like 2-week free agency period has been spent preparing for this day. And it's finally here. And as cruel as schedule makers can be, though, they schedule the Knicks game 3. Nova Knicks going into Philly tonight. Philly can cry harder. They schedule it to start at the same time as the NFL draft.
What is it about the Knicks going up against like major events, right? Because like, you know, when the Knicks make the playoffs, either you've got the NFL draft, you have, you know, former NFL stars driving slowly on a freeway in the back of a Bronco. Y'all just can't catch
slow walk that one.
I'm sorry.
I don't know about that 405 chase. This one is definitely of the NBA being like, we gotta compete somehow. So let's put the biggest market on at that time.
Oh man. All right. Let's dive into this though, right? Because the draft, we've seen mock drafts, we've heard plenty of chatter, we've read plenty of things over the last few months. I was gonna say days, but months, really.
Months.
We know quarterbacks are going early, likely the first 3, maybe the first 4 picks. Laquan, I will start with you. How many quarterbacks do you think we see in this first round tonight?
Ooh, I mean, 3 is a lock for me, and we could possibly see Bo Nix and Penix go in the first round. So I'm gonna lock in 5. I'm gonna go with 5 in the first round.
All right, higher or lower
6.
than that, Florio?
6.
6. You're going 6
because the first 3 picks are locked in quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy is locked in to be a top 10 pick, in my opinion. No later will he fall than 11, in my opinion. And then I agree with Laquan. I think what I think the Broncos should do is trade down and then still take Bo Nix instead of taking him at 12. And there's so much smoke linking the Raiders to Michael Penix, which I think we could get crazy right now. The draft hasn't started yet. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions are having chatter like, oh, maybe we trade out of the first. Maybe the Raiders jump back in late first and grab Penix and then get that 5th year of control under him.
Fun fact, 6 is the record for the most quarterbacks in the first round, and that was 1983 with John Elway, that class. Pretty nice.
So that 1983 class was solid. I mean, it's considered one of the greatest quarterback classes of all time. I'm going to say 5, right? I think you either get Penix or Nix in the first round. I'm not sure we get both in the first round. I mean, look, Williams, Daniels, May, McCarthy, those guys are locked in. I think the only real drama is how high does McCarthy go? Is it 4? Is it a little bit later? And where does he go? I don't know if you guys have any strong opinions on
I don't even know anymore. There's rumors every single day that this team wants this team is trading out, they're listening to calls. So at this point, man, let's just get the draft over with. Like the first 10 picks, let's just clean this up so we could just put it to bed so we know where JJ's going, because we know he's going somewhere. But man, I'm tired of the rumors.
I mean, that's all
my guess is he goes 5th to the Vikings. I don't think the Cardinals, for as much as we've pegged the Vikings going to 4, if you move back to 11, you're probably not getting one of the big 3 wide receivers. So I think they're going to just be like, let's just take Marvin Harrison Jr. And then I think the The Chargers, though, are in a good spot to trade back, still get an O-lineman. They could take those 2 picks from Minnesota and turn it into an O-lineman and a wide receiver. I think that's the only way I think the Cardinals trade is if the Giants end up wanting to jump into the top 5, and I'm not sure they do.
Well, so, I mean, you talk about rumor and innuendo. I mean, I saw something this morning that says the Giants could be angling to get up as high as number 3 and make a run at Drake May. Look, again.
Yo, we're done here.
We are in wild speculation season, right? These next few hours are just going to be nothing about why. It might be smarter. I mean, after this live stream, it might be smarter just turn off the internet for a while and just walk away from it, because it might break your brain some of the things that you are seeing right now. I'm sort of with you though, Florio. I think if you're the Cardinals, why overthink this? You want Harrison. He's your guy. He's going to be there at 4. Just take him. I mean, unless somebody just dazzles you with an offer, I think you just stay at 4, and then at 5 is where things get a little bit weird. But go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think we're all talking about the quarterbacks and where teams could trade up for. I completely understand why, but after that 5th pick is when I think the wide receiver run could really happen, and that my attention has quickly turned from like who's gonna trade up for JJ to like who's gonna jump the Jets and get Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors.
That's a huge leap.
It is a big leap. So, and it's funny too, because again, of all the things that you're seeing, there's been a lot of chatter about the value of trading up. And, certainly the analytics suggest, the numbers suggest trading up generally is not a good move. And even harder to justify trading up for a non-quarterback. Now, look, that doesn't mean that Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors won't pan out and become great NFL players, but certainly the numbers suggest that it is very much a risky move, sort of doing that right there. But that gets me to my next question, though. We talk about the number of quarterbacks we expect to see in the first round. How many wide receivers do you think we get in the first round?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, 6, 7? We have the
What
big
you
3 for
Florio?
6.5 is a great number to set because I think the big 3 are locks to go in the top 10. Brian Thomas Jr. is a lock. After that, it becomes like preference, but Mitchell seems like he's going to be a first-round pick. Worthy seems like he's going to be a first-round pick. That's 6 right there. I could see a 7th slipping in there, especially because when you get into the 20s, there's a lot of teams that need wide receivers.
I'm going to say 8, and that's going to break the record of the 2004 record of 7, and that's a Larry Fitzgerald class. So I'm going to say 8, man. There's going to be some guys that are just going to sneak in. I mean, look, Xavier Worthy is a first-round grade to me positively at that end of the draft, and that's where the Buffalo Bills can get creative. Hey, Troy Franklin's still buzzing at the end of that first round, early second round. Who knows? So I really think we could break the record this year.
I mean, I don't think it's definitely spicy. I don't think it's like insane, but it reminds me of the conversation we had with Emory Hunt on the podcast a few weeks back, that it feels sort of like it's almost like a fantasy draft, right? Where a couple of players at a certain position go, and then suddenly everybody kind of panics and you start drafting, wide receivers or tight ends or whatever it's going to be. That's sort of what this feels like, that you may have guys pushed into the first round that aren't necessarily first-round talents, but you're going to have a lot of teams looking around and saying, is our guy still going to be there when we get back on the clock in round 2, in round 3, whatever? And I think that's going to push a lot of guys up higher than they probably would have been otherwise. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I said I'm going to stick with, I think I said 6 or 7. I'll plant my flag at 7.
Let's get the record, man. Let's get 8.
Still a big number. Number.
Yeah, we kind of saw what you were talking about, MG, last year. Like, teams were playing wide receiver chicken. We didn't see one go off the board till 20, and then the next, it was 4 picks in a row. So the big 3 are going to go top 10. I feel very confident about that. But after that, I don't think I had Brian Thomas going in between 10 and 20 in the one mock I did, and then no wide receivers still in the 20s. Because I agree with you. I think at that point, teams aren't going to be aggressive to move up. They're just going to say, oh, we'll set at our pick and we'll get our guy, but there will be a run in the 20s, I think.
I would not be surprised if that happened. Speaking of wide receivers, by the way, I guess this is a chance for us to plug our most recent episode of the podcast, which was released yesterday. We had the wide receiver whisperer, creator, and founder of Reception Perception, and our pal, one Matthew J. Harmon, coming on the podcast. So be sure to go check that out wherever you find podcasts. Had a really great conversation with Harmon yesterday. It sort of created or finished, I guess, the crossover event. Some people, not me, but some people are saying it's the greatest crossover event since Avengers Endgame. Just gonna leave it there. Just gonna leave it at that.
Did he see that movie though? He never answered.
He actually has seen that movie. Yes.
Okay.
It's
he
one
said
of,
he
like,
got the reference, but he didn't say if he's seen it or not.
It's like one of the 7 movies Harmon has seen. Like, he has not seen a lot of films.
Because I remember having him
it's
on
one
my
of them.
pod. We did Keep Trade Cut, which we need to bring back for Florio Festival Movie Festival, and he watched a lot of Adam Sandler movies. Surprisingly enough.
Oh, Adam
Yeah.
Sandler, I've seen a lot of his.
There you
too.
go.
Yeah. Well, I know. Look, for a while he was roommates, with our old friend Alex Gelhar, and Gelhar is very much a cinephile, and so like Gelhar would make him sit down and watch movies. All the
Make
time.
him sit down and watch.
Basically,
movies.
would
It's crazy.
Would make us look. Harmon is, and I think Florio, you're kind of the same way. Like, he is more likely to binge like 8 episodes of a TV show in like a day or two, but will not sit down and watch a movie. It
A
boggles
movie
the
feels
mind.
like work for some reason. I don't know.
It's the easiest.
don't know
thing to
why.
Sit down and watch.
You know what? No, here's the thing. I sort of get it. It's like, look, eating a whole apple does feel like work, but if I cut the apple into 8 pieces, I'm like, yeah, man, I could totally.
There you
do
go.
You child.
it. You know? Yes, I'm a child. So what?
I bought apple slices yesterday at the store because I don't even want to cut it up myself.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Eat
man.
the skin. Don't
I do eat
peel
the
it
skin.
either.
I eat the
Yeah,
skin.
the slices have skin.
They have skin on
All
them.
right.
It's just like it is. It's like if I sit here and look at the whole apple, I'm like, man, this seems like a challenge. But if I eat it in 8 slices, I'm like, yeah, I can totally do this. This is like 8 little pieces of things.
Oh my god.
There you go. That's the best analogy I've ever heard.
There it is. So we're talking about quarterbacks and wide receivers going off the board, and Florida. You mentioned the teams maybe moving up to get something. Do we think we're going to see a lot of trades in this first round?
Yes. Like, I look, people who are in the know are saying we could get more trades than ever before, and I see why. Because one, there's so much talent at key positions this year, but also like wide receiver is a great example to use because you could think Lad McConkey is awesome, but he might not fit your team as well as and Mitchell might if you need a true X. So need is going to determine so much. But not only that, we could see Brandon Ayuk traded. T. Higgins has been very vocal that he wants to get moved. So I think tonight is going to be a pretty. I feel like a lot of, and we've heard about this plenty in the past. Like, my prime example is always Marquise Brown was in Arizona before the trade even got announced.
That
Yeah.
was the sickest thing ever.
These teams have deals worked out well in advance leading into the
they're
NFL draft, and they don't reveal them because they don't want to reveal their hands of what they're going to do in the draft. So I think tonight might be one of, if not the craziest draft that we've gotten in a very long time.
I do love
So-
Marquise Brown getting traded to Arizona and Lamar Jackson just being finding out like the rest of us did, on social
Like,
media.
hey, yo, what?
I mean, man, your boss is just making big moves and not telling you about it, man. It's it's heartbreaking, So,
Yeah.
Anyway, any other big surprises that we're expecting? Laquan, did somebody just go way off book, way off menu and do something? Did
It
you see that
happens
happening?
every year. The guy that we're not talking about, the guy that's just out of nowhere. Like, wait, how did this just happen? Like, when? And I'm gonna be pounding the table for Kyler Murray, man. I'm gonna say it. Like, I just don't think that organization is fully behind him. There's a new chapter there. They have the 4th pick. They could get a quarterback if they honestly wanted to. I'm just gonna say that would be my left field hot take that Kyler Murray or another big name quarterback is moved.
That would break it would
internet.
break football Twitter for sure.
Yes.
If
Yes.
the Cardinals go and they take J.J. McCarthy with the number 4 pick, that would be insane.
That would destroy everybody's plan after that.
It would. No. Everybody behind
would.
him would be completely shook. Like, what
Yeah.
happens now?
It's funny because my thinking is literally the exact opposite, where I'm like, they should take Marvin Harrison Jr. and go all in on Kyler Murray, because I think this is a team that is much closer to competing than they probably get credit for. So I think you add Marvin Harrison there. Oh, I see you pull it. Look, they were scrappy last year.
They were scrappy. They're always scrappy, bro. I'd be shook playing them, but we always get their number though. We're good.
Yeah. A question in the chat here from Maggie. It's kind of a stupid question. There are no stupid questions, Maggie. But do the players have to agree to the trade the team GM makes with another team? Generally, no. Every now and then, a player will have a clause in his contract where it's a no trade clause, or I will only accept a trade to this team or that team. Those are very rare, and you have to be a player with a lot of leverage in those situations. But generally speaking, it's like you work for a company and you work in the Denver office, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're sending you to the Miami office, and you got to pack up and go to Miami, or decide that you want a completely different line of work. Like those are your two
options. Yeah.
It's only in the NBA where they can control everywhere that they go.
Yeah, but even that seems to be sort of changing a little bit. I don't know.
Owners are getting spiteful where they're like, "Oh, that's the team you want to." Like Donovan Mitchell, everyone knew he wants to go to the Knicks. They were like, "We're sending you anywhere but the Knicks."
The Knicks. He's doing all right in Cleveland, although I think he's still trying to angle his way to the Knicks.
He's coming.
I think he's still trying to get there. So, like I said, the draft starts in a little less than 7 hours from now. Any other big things that you guys think you're going to see? Anything else that we want to preview before? I feel like the draft has sort of been talked out. Like at this point, we should just get there. But anything else that you guys want to jump in on before we move on?
No.
All right, not everybody at once. Here we go.
I was waiting for you.
I was about to say, look, the draft has been talked about. We need to get these prospects into their new locations to get onboarded so we can get some content, so we can finally talk about facts and things that actually matter instead of speculation, rumors, and what color people's nails are painted. It does not matter. Like, let's please get these players on the team and let's get their fantasy outlooks and let's have fun this season, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
My biggest thing is the draft is more than night one. So there's going to be a lot of very talented players still left on the board after tonight. Don't write them off or don't think like, oh, these receivers can't play. Like there's a lot of day two and even some day three players that can surprise and always do end up surprising. So don't just think it's the names you hear tonight and that's it. Other thing is, I don't know who exactly, but I have just a strong feeling that someone is going to jump up to 7 or 8 with the Titans or 9. It could be either the Titans, Falcons, or Bears, and they are going to take Rome Odunze. I would put the Colts in that conversation. I think the Steelers are in that. I think the Bills, if they want to get that aggressive, are in that. But I just think they know that Odunze is not going past 10. So I think ideally 7 or 8 are the sweet spot. I think someone is going to make a move and try to get him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Bears, right? You go out and you get your franchise quarterback with the number 1 overall pick. Why wouldn't you go back and get him a top? I know they got receivers, right? I know they got DJ Moore and they have Keenan Allen, but why not get him a rookie receiver that you can pair up for years, right? Why not try to recreate a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase type situation where you have 2 guys that you can have under team control for a number of years and let those guys grow together? It makes so much sense. I see Toronto Dave saying Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia is not going to make a move though, right? They're not going to move that high up to get a receiver.
I don't expect it, but the way Bean has been kind of handling this, I feel like he has something kind of worked out already up his sleeves, whether that's trading for a veteran or he knows who he wants late. But I'm not ruling out them. I think it would cost a lot to go from 28 to 8. And I don't know if it's the smartest move, but I'm not fully ruling them out.
Yeah, it would be wild. Look, we keep saying some wild things could happen. That would fall in the category of wild for sure. Yeah. Apparently the Rams, LQ, are already making moves. I don't know if you've seen this. A couple things. What? One, I guess Rams fans are, I don't know if there's an actual petition or just social media pressure, but they want Aaron Donald to announce pick number 99 in the draft. That seems
that
easily
would be
done.
so plug and play.
That seems like an easily done thing, right? I mean, why not, right? He just
That's
retired.
the point.
He's going to the Hall of Fame. You
Yeah.
know, he's going to get his number retired by the Rams most likely. Like, why not have him come out and announce pick 99? That's
the point where Goodell is fatigued and they start bringing out
Right.
celebrities to announce.
Yes.
Right.
That room will light up. Like today,
yeah.
I'm going to Hermosa Beach for the draft party.
Are you really?
That
Yes.
was the next thing I was going to ask you about. That's what I was going to ask you about. Like, I saw a tweet from our pal Andrew Siciliano. The Rams have brought a football field and put it on the beach in Hermosa. Like, this is nuts, man.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'm close. I'll be there.
All right.
The dude's been up since 2 a.m. Now he's going to a Rams party, and then he's going to be with us at like 9 p.m. Pacific, maybe. I don't know what time it's going to be. Just recapping.
So you're going to be down there on the beach. You got to stop by and get some food and some drink. I'd have to, go to Patrick Malloy's, go to Hennessy's. I guess you could go.
I'm going to pace myself. I'm going tomorrow, too.
I guess you could go to Baja Sharkies. All right, so look, I'm going to say this. You are a savage if you are going on day 2 of the draft, right?
Yes.
I have been to the draft before, and day 1 is amazing. It is NFL Coachella, right? You got people in all sorts of jerseys. Everybody is fired up. You're waiting for that first pick. There's just such an excitement and such an energy in the air. And like day 1's amazing. Day 2 is really for like the draft nicks and the
We're
nerds.
Rams fans because we haven't had a pick since 2016.
Yeah, there's that point too. But like day 2 is different because the energy's not the same because I mean let's keep it a buck, right? Most people don't know those guys. You're not seeing a ton of like round 2 and round 3 mock drafts. Like you got to be deep in this stuff to be
deep in the streets. Yeah.
So like the energy on day 2 is significantly less than what it is on day 1. So which means that like the field will be out there. There'll be a lot more folks at like Baja Sharkies or like Tower 33 or whatever, like hanging out, having drinks and little snacks over there. So salute to you though, friend, for doing this both days.
I'm gonna have a good old time. I mean, the last time I went to the draft, I saw Cooper Kupp in Philadelphia get drafted. So it's only right, man. If I got to show up to a draft party in LA, then I got to do it. I'm here.
All right. Speaking of draft parties, though, and Florio alluded to this, we will be back with you this evening after round 1 of the draft. We will be right back here on this channel, recapping all of the fantasy relevant picks, sort of like giving our thoughts on what this means, not only for the guys that got drafted, but for what it means for those teams around them. There will be winners, there will be losers. Obviously, what we say now may or may not be coming true. So, if we're wrong, we're just going to burn the tape. Don't worry about it. But we will be back here immediately after the first round of the draft tonight, kind of running through some of those picks. We'll also kind of preview what we think will happen in day 2 and I guess day 3 as well. So be sure to check that out as well. Seeing a lot of stuff on my timeline today about the movie Draft Day, fittingly.
Watched it yesterday.
Did you? Okay. So I want to ask you, because I haven't watched it in a couple of years. Like I saw it in theaters when it first came out. In fact, actually, if I remember right, I think the NFL media did a company-wide screening for it when it came out. Look, they had Roger Goodell in it. Ben Liebenberg, who's the head of the photo department, had a nice little cameo. Like he's taking pictures, doing his little gig and stuff. As a movie, and I guess this can be an early version of Florio's Film Festival, your thoughts on it as a movie?
Very enjoyable as a movie, which is why I watch it now every year. I hadn't seen it for years, and then I started working here and covering the draft more, and I was like, I should probably watch this movie, and now I watch it every year before the draft because it gets me in that spirit. It kind of shows you a little bit of like how crazy and how fast-paced things moves. From a football standpoint, hot garbage.
I was not expecting that.
No, but see, you know what? Florio encapsulated exactly how I think about the movie and mostly how I engage with people who criticize the movie, because it feels like when you hear football people talk about it, they're like, this movie is terrible. It's the worst sports movie ever made. And I'm like, well, it's because you guys are looking at this from an actual team building draft capital standpoint.
I heard
right?
it's unrealistic.
Have you?
Oh, you've never
seen
seen
it? Do you want us to tell you what the moves are?
No, I'll watch it. I have to watch it now. You guys watch it. I have to watch it.
I mean, plus it gives you the famous Vontae Mack no matter what, right? I mean, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. It gives you that kind of moment there. but like the draftniks watch this movie with like, you know, their trade value chart and their pick value chart in hand, and they're like, yeah, no, this movie's terrible. But like from just a movie, like I don't think the people who wrote this movie were really thinking about it in that respect.
No,
Probably
no,
not.
They weren't.
and there's so many icon. Like, why did no one go to his birthday party? Like, I
Right.
still reference that with talking about prospects now. Like, I don't know who went to his birthday party, but
Right. I mean, I was like, is Bo Nix Bo Callahan? Like, are they the same player? Like, what are we doing?
I gotta
here?
watch
Like,
this. It's
what's
all
going
over
on?
my head.
Um,
I gotta watch this.
look, for as much as everyone says Sonny Weaver would be fired, and sorry, Laquan, you might want to, he would be. There's another GM, the Jaguars GM in that movie wouldn't even make it out of the first round.
yeah. No, you're right. The other comment that I saw that really
I gotta
made me
watch
laugh.
this.
The other comment that made me laugh that I saw this morning is that, like, you know, we should have known Bo Callahan was going to be a bust when we saw Diddy as his agent.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that
There's some
note,
stuff that does not age well in that movie.
on that note,
No
it might be
Diddy.
time for us to pull the shoot on this stream. Thanks to everybody who jumped into the chat. We will be back, of course, this evening.
Tonight.
After the first round is over, we will recap what happened in night 1 of the draft, so be sure to be here for that. Should be a whole lot of fun. Would love to have some of your thoughts in the chat, too, that we can get to and kind of answer some questions that maybe you guys have. But otherwise, we will be here as soon as it's done. And, of course, we'll be back with you next week for another episode of the podcast. We appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us, jumping in the chat. Thanks to
Oh, you got muted, but thanks you guys for watching.